兄弟姊妹平安。过去几落个月，因为冠状病毒无机会相见，咱教会领袖甲小弟常常小念注意。咱感谢主，现在借着手机的电话、平板的电脑、笔记本电脑，仍然会通相见，听上帝话语，彼此鼓励，互相勉励。上帝话语叫咱毋通停止聚会，亲像遐停止关死的人。咱教会现在有举办中文的崇拜会，为着要来供应注意灵性的需要。让小弟读诗篇91篇第14节到16节，上帝有互咱真正美好的应允。诗篇91篇第14到16节，上帝讲：因为伊专心听我，我就要搭救伊；因为伊知影我的名，我要将伊安置伫悬的所在。伊若求告我，我就应允伊。伊伫急难中，我要甲伊同在。我要搭救伊，互伊尊贵。我要互伊足享长寿，将我的救恩显明互伊。愿主的恩惠甲平安，做加添互恁。阿门。
OK， 咱三合来祈祷，听阮的天父上帝，阮搁一摆来感谢俄罗你，互阮搁一摆的机会，有人甲阮教会中节三合伫遮来祈祷恁。主，阮委员感谢你，虽然伫即个病毒的危机的内面，主看见你也伫遐看顾保守阮，互阮逐个人有平安，逐个人伫遐有你的带领，有你的看顾，也有你的供应。阮搁一摆献上感恩的祭礼，愿主你的灵继续运行伫阮中间，继续伫遮来做感动安慰的工作恁，同时也预备阮的心灵伫遮来听你的话语恁。阮的一切求恩感恩，拢是奉主耶稣基督的圣尊名，阿门。
Try to complete this saying that I'm going to flash this you.
我即个俗语所要讲的请恁该完成。
When life gives you lemons, make
生命呢有互你柠檬，
you make lemonade with the lemons given you.
你就是创柠檬水。
Now, according to a website called Wikipedia, this is how they describe the phrase. This phrase is what we call a proverbial phrase, and it is used to encourage optimism and a positive can-do attitude whenever we are facing adversities or misfortune.
伫即个 Wikipedia 的网络，伊有安尼来说明，即个意思就是讲，你常常是带着一个有乐观、积极的态度，伫拄着艰难的时阵，来对付。
Now the lemon, it suggests the sourness or the difficulty of life.
柠檬呢是常常代表伫咱生活中咱所拄着的苦难，甲咱的试炼。
To make lemonade means to turn the lemon into something positive or desirable.
所以你若要互即个柠檬水还是汁，诚做搁较好啉，就是敢若讲你的生活呢，你就是用迄个乐观、积极的态度，互伊变做你的所喜爱、所会通欢喜的。
Now this is a very beautiful saying, and I'm sure that we all wish we have a positive attitude whenever we face trials or problems in life.
所以当咱拄着试炼，还是生活的一寡艰难，咱爱有一款乐观、积极的态度来对付。
A good example would be this person, Nick Vujicic.
有一个好的比喻，就是这个人名做 Nick Vujicic。
He was born without arms and legs.
伊生出来就无手也无脚。
And he could have grown up become an adult who is bitter and angry.
伊即个中大时阵，因为伊即款的变听甲破面，伊有法乱诚做真正惨痛怨毒的一寡人。
But because he had faith in Jesus Christ and because of his godly mother, he turned his disability into becoming a platform to encourage and motivate people.
但是因为伊老母甲因家拢是接受耶稣、信耶稣做因的救主，所以伊就将伊即个残废的身躯，诚做一个机会，会通来帮助，因乐观积极的态度，帮助真侪遐咧受痛苦的人。
And his testimony has actually helped many people also come to know Jesus.
藉着伊的见证，引带真侪人接受耶稣做因的救主。
So if you look at his life, it's as if he was given lemons, but with the lemons he chose to make lemonade out of it.
所以若亲像伫伊的生活里，人是推灵魂，但是伊将这个灵魂，诚做灵魂水，会通来帮助。
But too often, when we are facing trials or adversities, what happens is we end up becoming bitter rather than learning to become better by, having a positive perspective.
但是真常咱遇到试炼、不幸的代志时阵，咱常常会变做伫迄搭有一款怨毒、惨痛的态度。
And so instead of squeezing the lemon to make lemonade, we end up complaining about the lemon.
所以咱无伫搭呢将即个灵魂来创做灵魂水，咱是倒伫搭常常咧怨叹。
And I know this personally because I know that I've complained many times when I am given a certain circumstance and trial. I complain about the lemonade rather than make lemonade out of the problem.
我亲自也有经历即款，因为伫我遇到真侪苦难、试炼的时阵，我常常也有时阵有即款会怨毒的态度来对付。
But what if life throws you all kinds of adversities, all kinds of problems?
但是假使伫你的生命，你遭遇到真侪款不幸，真大苦难。
What if they came one after another? How are you going to deal with them?
那假使一个的即款的悲惨的代志临到你的身上，你要怎样反应呢？
Would you still be able to see things positively rather than to curse the darkness?
你是毋是会用乐观积极的方面，来对待，还是你会只留伫搭咧怨叹即个黑暗？
Today we are starting a rather short series on the book of Ruth.
今仔日咱就要开始罗德记。
And it's a very short book. It's only 4 chapters long.
这本圣经册呢，第一底只有4章。
And we probably could finish the entire book in 10 minutes.
你头到尾该读，兼且10分钟就读了咯。
However, don't let the shortness of the book deceive you, for it is filled with lessons about how God is at work in the lives of ordinary people.
但是你也莫想讲，因为这本册遐底，无什么心得通得到，因为这本册是充满了上帝真正丰富，要怎样来帮助咱，特别若咱遇到试炼的时阵。
In this book, we learn how God can cause His purposes to come to pass, even though there may be adversities and trials.
伫这本册内面，你会看到上帝的旨意。虽然有真侪试炼、真侪苦难，伊知上款有法成就伊的旨意。
Now, the book is named after Ruth, but the main character, aside from God, is actually Naomi.
这本册虽然是罗德。 但是主要的人物是拿俄米。
In fact, if you do a word count of the names, you'll find that Naomi outnumbers the name Ruth.
你若是详细看一本册，你读这两种的名，你会看到拿俄米这个名较常出现。
And this book is a story of the tragedies that struck Naomi's life.
这本册呢是讲到拿俄米伊生活。
And then how she has these perspectives about tragedy, and then how God then turns them around at the very end.
伊也互咱看到，伊怎样对即款试验、苦难，上帝怎样将这不幸的代志转变，真做舒服的机会。
So today we're looking at chapter 1 at the adversities, the trials Naomi faced.
今仔日咱是看罗得记第1章，看到拿俄米伊所拄到这不幸的代志。
And from this chapter we can learn some important lessons about becoming better rather than bitter.
伫咱咧看即章的时阵，会帮助咱真做更较好，毋是真做有一款反毒的态度。
But first, I'd like to begin by sharing a bit about the background or the context of the book.
未开始，由我来将即个册的背景说明。
Now, this book begins by setting the time frame as that of the time of the judges.
这本册伊的记载就是历史书记的时代。
The illustration is quite small, but let me just point out to you.
你若看这个图的虽然是较小，但是让我通解释给恁听。
What I'm pointing now is the time frame. It's somewhere around 1200 to 1150 BC.
是差不多主前1000至1250年。
And if you are familiar with the book of Judges, you will know that it is the record of how Israel failed to keep the law of God.
这本册你会发现是咧讲到以色列因怎样无伫搭来稳定听从上帝的命令。
And their disobedience resulted in God bringing judgment upon the nation.
因为因的违逆，上帝的刑罚就降临到因的国家。
Now, usually the judgment would come in the form of pagan nations invading Israel.
真常上帝的刑罚呢，是借着外邦的国家来侵占以色列人。
And then when the people are burdened or they are oppressed, what they do is they turn back to God, they repent, and then God sends a deliverer, a judge to rescue.
这人受大苦难，受这外邦人的压迫的时阵，因就痛悔改认罪，上帝就差派伊的师师来拯救。
But then, having studied Deuteronomy for the past few months, we have to remember that God's judgment, when we fail to obey the law, didn't just come in the form of invasion from pagan nations.
但是当咱来研究申命记，咱发现，当这人因无听从上帝，上帝唔单单是借着外邦的国家来侵占，上帝也有讲其他的灾害。
And here in the story, it came in the form of a natural calamity.
伫这个故事，咱就看到有一款自然的灾害降临。
Here we read that it was a time of famine in Israel.
咱读到，伫这个时阵呢，以色列因就经历到饥荒。
And one of the places affected was the territory of Judah, where Bethlehem was located.
有一个所在受大影响的。就是伯利恒伫犹大的所在。
And the name Bethlehem actually means house of bread.
伯利恒的意思是乳牛的所在。
And so this town was supposed to be a place of abundance.
应该这个所在是充满有粮食通食。
But now it was a place that was struck by famine, and this famine may have been brought about by a drought.
但是因为有饥荒。因为无落雨，伊就即款的痛苦。
And so when famine struck the land, we find this man from Judah, from Bethlehem, named Elimelech. He brings his entire family from Bethlehem, and they go into the place called Moab.
所以当这个饥荒的时阵，咱就读到这个人以利米勒，伊就带伊的家庭，对伯利恒去到摩押的所在。
He did this because he wanted himself and his family to escape the famine.
伊安尼来做，是因为要救伊的家庭，来避免伫即款饥荒的所在的痛苦。
He was leaving the promised land in order to dwell in the land of Israel's enemy.
所以伊是离开所应允迦南地， 起到革命的所在。
Now, no one truly knows if his decision was prompted by God or it was simply a decision he made because he wanted to preserve himself and his family.
无人知影伊安尼做是上帝的引带，还是伊家己要救伊的生命甲伊的家庭安尼做。
And his original plan was to simply stay for a while, because if you read the English translation, it says he went to live for a while in the land.
你若读圣经，伊起初的计划是要刷到摩押地，只有要徛短短的一个时间。
Unfortunately, for a while became 10 years.
但是不幸，伊即个要待一间久，就真做10年的时间。
Now, while they were in Moab, Elimelech passes away.
因伫摩押地呢，伊伫以色就死了。
Now, this person Elimelech, together with Naomi, they had 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion.
伊伫以色甲拿俄米因有2个囝，一个名做马伦，一个名做基连。
And both these sons married Moabite women.
即2个囝因拢是娶摩押的女子。
The first was named Orpah and the other was Ruth.
后一个名做欧利巴，第二是名做罗德。
And so the marriage indicated that this particular Israelite family was actually going to stay long term in Moab.
所以你若安尼看，你会知影讲，因是安尼所有计划，就徛伫摩押地较久长的时间。
But then we know that tragedy struck. Both sons died, and none of them had children who could continue the lineage of their father.
但是咱知影讲有在的悲剧的代志发生，所以老爸甲2个囝拢死了。
And so this family now consists of 3 mourning women.
所以这个家庭村落有3个伫迄咧悲哀的女人。
And so even as they were mourning the passing of Mahlon and Chilion, then news came to Naomi. The Lord has again blessed the land of Israel.
所以当因安尼咧受苦的时阵，因就搁听说讲，上帝已经伫犹太地已经赐福互即个地。
The drought was over, there was no more famine, and the crops were already about to be, were already yielding.
基亨已经停止了，现在已经要收割所种做的。
And so Naomi decided she wanted to go back to Bethlehem, and both her daughters-in-law went with her.
所以拿俄米甲因2个新妇就决定要搁发起约利行。
But as they were traveling, Naomi then made up her mind, and she started to, discourage them or dissuade them from going back with her to the land.
因的路程中间呢，拿俄米伊就要阻止即2个新妇来跟因发起约利行的所在。
And so she wished them well, and she said, "May you find husbands for yourselves who will take care of you and provide for you."
所以伊就讲即2个新妇讲，愿恁伫摩押地，恁搁找着丈夫，我伫搭来祝福你。
Now at first, both Orpah and Ruth still wanted to go back with Naomi, but then she argued that if they went back with her, they will never find husbands for themselves.
即2个新妇，起初甲拿俄米三甲伫搭咧讲话讲，因爱甲因倒去约利行，但是拿俄米伫搭来讲，你无通甲我去，因为我无通搁再有生意啦，互恁做恁的丈夫。
She could not provide any more sons for them to marry and to continue the line of their lineage.
因伊也无法子，但是伊要搁生囝，图因迄个家谱来继续。
Now, what isn't said by Naomi, but we need to understand, is that if both Orpah and Ruth returned with her, they may not be accepted by the village.
虽然圣经无安尼讲，但是可能这个是一个原因，因为拿俄米伊想到伊即2个新妇若发起约利行，因为伊是摩押人，有可能伫约利行的遮人袂接受。
They were Moabites, and we know that the Moabites, although related to the Israelites, yet they oppressed and opposed Israel quite a number of times.
咱若知影讲，遮摩押人，虽然甲以色列人是有亲的，但是因伫过去，有几落摆伫搭来欺负以色列人。
And so eventually Orpah leaves to go back to her parents and to her old
啊，
religion.
来这个乌尼巴，伊就决定要搁回去摩押地。
But Ruth chose to stay with Naomi, and we would read in the chapter her beautiful declaration of commitment.
但是罗德伊定义，要来本地拿俄米发到伯利恒的所在。
We would read that she declares her commitment to Naomi, and then her commitment to Israel and to the God of Israel.
啊，咱读过圣经，知影讲罗德伊伫搭领顶，伊要本地拿俄米，本地伊的上帝，也要本地伫搭来接受以色列人。
And so Naomi knew now that she could not discourage or dissuade Ruth, so she stopped urging her.
啊，然后俄米知影伊即个新妇已经是定伊要本地，所以就无搁再阻止伊了。
And so they arrived in Bethlehem, and when they arrived, the whole town was abuzz, and they were wondering, is this Naomi?
啊，因发到伯利恒的时阵，哦，遮百姓因就伫搭咧问呀讲，啊，这位是拿俄米吗？
The reason is because, they've been away for 10 years, and through the tragedies of life, probably it had aged her significantly.
啊，因为拿俄米已经离开10年的时间咯，并且所拄到的试炼、甲苦难，有可能已经老真多。
And then she expressed her feelings of bitterness, and she sort of blames her situation on God.
拿俄米伫搭，伊就伫搭咧观看，咧怪上帝，是上帝替伊受到这个大苦。
Now, this is when we read the passage, it seems as if this is the point where Naomi expressed her feelings of bitterness.
啊，咱若咧读这本的圣经，咱会拿亲像伫这个所在，拿俄米就将伊款反毒悲惨的态度显明出来。
But I suspect that this feeling of bitterness has been building up ever since she left Bethlehem for Moab.
但是我相信，拿俄米这款的态度，是伊对伯利恒要离开去到摩押地时阵，已经有开始伫搭咧彰显出来。
And then when she lost her husband and her 2 sons, the bitterness compounded even more.
啊，所以当伊失去伊的丈夫甲2个囝，伊这款真正悲哀、真正痛苦、怨叹的心情，搁较加甜咯。
I understand that anyone who goes through a lot of tragedies in life would probably feel the same way that Naomi felt.
我也相信真侪人若经过拿俄米这款悲剧的代志，真正有可能会有这款的态度。
We might even question the goodness of God.
并且所会伫搭来疑问到上帝的良善。
And probably like Naomi, we may at one stage in life became even bitter in our heart instead of accepting what God has handed us.
真有可能，伫咱的生活，咱诚多真正伫搭有反毒的态度，袂伫搭乐观的接受。
So what are some of the lessons that we can learn from this first chapter that will help us to deal with the bitterness and the hardships of
所以
life?
当咱看路德记第1章，咱有啥物功课通来得到，帮助咱来对付咱所拄到的试炼，
So that it will help us to be better and not bitter.
会帮助咱诚多更较好，袂诚多有迄款反毒的态度。
The first lesson we have to learn is we need to accept willingly the providence of God.
头一项呢，咱就伫遐真正乐意，来接受咱上帝的供养。
This word providence is too often misunderstood by us, that we think it simply means that God provides for our every need.
真常咱若读到这个上天天意，咱常常讲这个自然就是上帝供应啦。
Especially when you look at the English, the first word that you get from providence is the word provide.
你若看英文里，这个头几字呢，就是咧指上帝供应。
Now, the word providence carries the idea of God providing, but it is not limited simply to God's provision.
这个唔单单是讲上帝供应咱的需要。
The dictionary defines providence as the power that sustains and guides human destiny.
你若咧看字典里，伊讲即个的意思是上有迄个能力，来支持引带咱人的命运。
And how God sustains, how God guides us, is not only seen in the wonderful events of life, but it is also seen in trials, in sad moments, in tragedies.
上帝伊的供应，伊的支持，甲伊的引带，不单是伫咱的有生理方面来供应啦，就是伫试炼、患难、苦难的时阵，上款伫咱的引带。
God may not necessarily cause a tragic event to happen in your life,
上帝无一定讲有悲剧发生伫你的生命，
but He can use tragic events to mold and shape us.
但是伊有法借着这悲剧的代志，来塑造，来伫迄来，互咱诚做搁较伊上款。
But for us to be better and not bitter, we need to accept that God's providence in both the wonderful as well as the tragic can be used by Him for our good.
但是咱若要借着这不幸的代志，会通帮助咱，咱就知影讲，无论是遐逆境的，遐不幸的，还是遐好的，拢伫搭通来帮助。上帝会用这来磨练。
God never promised that the life of His people, His children, would ever be easy.
上帝无伫搭应允讲，伊的行李袂拄着艰难。
In fact, if you read Psalm 34, verse 19, it says that the afflictions of the righteous are many.
你若看诗篇34篇搭，伊有讲，义人的苦难是真正多。
What He does promise is that He will deliver us from them all.
但是伊所应允的呢，是讲伫这试炼中间，上帝有法将咱拯救出来。
Then when we come to the New Testament in Romans 8:8, we know that God can cause all things to work for good.
咱若看到新约罗马书第8章28节，咱若知影讲凡事互相效力，叫听主的人得到益处。
Now Naomi, in one sense, she accepted the providence of God.
拿俄米一方面，伊有接受上帝这款的供应，
She knew God was in control.
伊也知影讲上帝的掌管，
She knew that God probably allowed this tragedy to happen in her life.
伊也知影讲上帝应允这款的悲剧，伊的生活内面发生。
However, her acceptance of God's providence was one of resignation to the fact that God, you have dealt me a bad hand.
但是伊这款的态度呢，伊是若亲像伫搭已经导航了讲，上帝啊，你既然将这款的代志发生伫我的生活，我就是接受咯。
Rather than believing that God, you could use this tragedy to do something better.
伊无搁想一步讲，上帝啊，你有法借着这款的悲剧，来完成你美好的旨意。
If you read verses 20 and 21, you will find that Naomi accused God of causing the tragedies to happen.
你若看20、21节，你会发现，拿俄米伊是怪上帝，讲是上帝互这苦难临到伊的身上。
And so her acceptance of God's providence was a reluctant acceptance.
所以伊接受上帝这款的供应呢，是拿真像不得已的来接受。
Sometimes we do that, don't we?
有时阵咱是毋是相款？
When something tragic happens to us, we accept it, but we still blame God for what had happened.
咱拄着不幸的代志，咱接受，但是咱也搁咧埋怨上帝。
But think about this. What if the tragedies that came upon Naomi were the result of the family's disobedience to God?
但是你有想到，假使拿俄米伊有失去了这款不幸的代志，是因为因的家庭所犯的罪。
After all, they left the promised land.
好像因离开迦南地。
Second, the sons intermarried with non-Israelites who worship idols.
第二项，因的囝，甲这无信主的人、摩押人，咧敬拜偶像的结婚。
Or maybe it was Naomi who had the idea of leaving Bethlehem in the first place.
也有可能是拿俄米的意思要离开伯利恒。
We don't really know the reason, but if it were the result of disobedience that God was disciplining Naomi, then we would understand why.
那假使这个是因为安尼上帝借着这离达的管教拿俄米，这个也是有可能的。
However, I want us to also assume this. Assume that what happened to Naomi were God's judgment and discipline. Then we should be more surprised that God would turn these things into joy.
但是你若想讲，这是上帝的刑罚，甲伊的管教，那上帝有法将这来转变，成做因的恩典，这个会互咱更较荣耀。
And so when we are faced with trials, tragedies, hard times, can we willingly accept that God is still in control?
所以咱若拄着患难、试验，咱是毋是也佫有法想讲，上帝也佫是掌管的？
That what happens to us are not accidents, but they are part of God's grand design for our lives.
就是讲有这代志偶然发生，是上帝伫咱生活中的大计划。
The second thing we can learn is we need to see the good God sends our way.
第二方面呢，咱就将这试验看做上帝将一寡好的代志想出互咱。
You know, in the story, Naomi only saw the tragedies that happened to her.
伫咱所读的故事，拿俄米只有看到伊所拄到这不幸的代志，
She failed to see the blessing that was standing in front of her.
伊无伫当看到伫伊面前要讲临上帝要讨因的恩典福气。
And that blessing was the person of Ruth.
伊这个福呢，就是路德。
The fact that Ruth was still willing to go with her to return to Bethlehem.
路德伊当甘愿甲伊越到伯利恒，
To forsake her own people and become an Israelite.
伫迄来离开伊家己的百姓，成做以色列人。
To forsake her idolatrous ways and to worship the one true God.
离弃伊迄款敬拜偶像来听叹，来敬拜真正的上帝。
Isn't that a great blessing?
这个敢毋是真大的福分吗？
And then later on, when you read chapters 2 all the way to the end, you'll know that Ruth proved to be a blessing when she worked to provide for them both.
你若看第2章、第3到第4章，你会发现路德伫迄来做工，来供应因这两个有人的需要。
And then she proved to be a very good daughter-in-law.
伊也是成做一个真好的媳妇。
And later on, she would give Naomi a child who would carry on the family name.
以后伊的生囡仔，互伊这个家谱有继续落。
And not only was God good to Naomi through Ruth, God was also good by showing His blessing to the people of Israel, which included Naomi.
上帝也是借着路德，互拿俄米甲以色列人得到真多的益处。
If you read verse 22, it says that Naomi and Ruth arrived in Bethlehem just as the barley harvest was beginning.
你若读22节，你会发现，因越到伯利恒的所在，是拄好大麦咧收割的时阵。
They returned at the right time when God was already bestowing His blessing upon the land.
因我去伯利恒的时阵，是真正好的时间，是拄好上帝咧将恩典降临到迄个所在。
However, with all of these blessings, Naomi only saw the tragedies.
虽然有真侪咱所讲的这恩典，但是咱发现讲，拿俄米伊是较伫得主动看到这不幸的代志。
When we go through adversities and trials, we sometimes see the tragedy that we fail to see the goodness of God.
真常咱拄着艰难的时阵，咱看到遐异极的代志，咱无看到遐恩典。
But what if we choose to look at God's goodness instead?
那假使咱选择，咱要来看上帝的良善这方面。
what difference would it make in your life and my life?
伫你甲我的生活，会有啥物无相款的代志发生呢？
A few years back, my mother-in-law was discovered as having a tumor in her brain.
几年前，我的娘伫伊的头有发现有癌。
And we could have questioned, God, why did you allow this to happen to her?
阮迄时阵有法来问上帝，你为什么允准这项代志发生呢？
But instead, we trusted the Lord.
但是阮外靠上帝。
And we saw that God is still good, even though we were facing this particular
阮
circumstance.
虽然拄着遭遇这款的不幸的代志，但是阮也我相信上帝是良善，
And God really did prove to be good to us.
上帝也是真正恩待我。
You know, throughout the procedure, we never worried about the medical bills.
伫这个家庭内面，阮无值得挂拄到医费。
In fact, we never even paid a cent because there were people, generous, anonymous donors who helped my mother.
甚至呢，阮就无开什么钱，因为有真侪人因值得主动的奉献。
And not only that, we were pointed to the right doctors and who told us what was the right procedure.
并且上帝也引带互阮拄着真好的医生，帮助阮要怎样来处理这个病痛。
The very first doctor we went to actually told us that it would be best to have an open brain surgery.
头一个医生，伊就提议讲，阮就值得来手术。
But we knew that because of her age, that was out of the question.
但是因为伊的血质，阮知影讲，这个毋是适合的办法。
And so we went for a second opinion. We went to Dr. Daniel Ong, who, by the way, attends our third service.
所以阮就搁来访问另外一个医生，王医生，伊也是参加咱第三堂的崇拜会。
And he was the one who told us, get this particular procedure, grab a knife. And then he said, go to this particular doctor, he will do the surgery.
伊就有提议一个医生，伊讲你用另外一个医学的办法，来处理这个动物。
And so because of how God was guiding us throughout the process, we saw that things went well.
因为有上帝引带，阮就看到这个家庭，真正顺利。
Now throughout this particular trial, we could have chosen to see the bad, the tumor.
当这个试验发生的时阵呢，阮也有选择要去看到迄个医局的方面。
But instead, what we did was we saw the good, that God was going to take care of things, God was going to guide us.
但是伫这个试验中间呢，阮选择看上帝怎样良善，伊搭来帮助。
And so what are the trials and tragedies that you face in your life?
所以你生活所拄到的试验，甲这悲剧，是啥物几项代志？
Are you simply dwelling on these things, or do you see God's goodness in the midst of the
你
tragedy?
是毋是只有看到这不幸的代志，还是你也看到上帝伊这样良善的引带？
I hope that all of us, we will open our eyes and see that God is good and that He's doing something in the midst of our hardships, in the midst of our adversities.
我盼望讲，你会看到伫你即款试炼艰难中间，你会通伫倒来经历到上帝是好，上帝是良善。
The third thing is we need to believe that God always has the best in store for you.
第三点，你就相信讲，上帝常常将最好的保留互你。
Now the previous point is about our present. This is about the future.
头一点是咧讲到以前的，这个是咧讲到将来。
Now, we all cannot see far ahead to the future.
咱每一个人，咱无法真是看到将来这代志，
But we have to believe that God has something better for us.
但是咱应该就相信讲，上帝有更较好的物件要成就互咱。
Now, if you were reading the book of Ruth for the very first time, and you were in chapter 1, you probably would think that Naomi's situation was a bad one. It was a dire situation.
你若唔捌读到路得记，你咧读头一章时阵，咸菜记以为讲，拿俄米所拄到的，实在是真正困难，真正痛苦，那真像无盼望。
However, as you read chapter 1, the author was actually giving us a clue as to what God was going to do.
但是你若咧读第一章详细看，你会发现讲，作者伊有伫咧暗示。
You see, in verses 11 to 13, Naomi lamented to her daughters-in-law that she had no more sons to give them in marriage.
你若看11到第13节，拿俄米讲伊的两个媳妇讲，伊无会通搁再生囝，讨因做丈夫咯。
Now, that sounds very negative, right?
这个若亲像消极。
However, scholars believe that the author was giving a clue how God was going to answer the situation.
但是作者呢，伊是讲上帝有暗示，咧互因知影，伊是要用什么款的办法来束缚因。
Because Naomi was talking about the idea of the kinsman redeemer.
因为拿俄米是咧讲到骨肉之亲怎样要来救赎因。
A relative who would come to rescue the family and preserve the property as well as perpetuate the family line of the deceased.
因为这个至亲的救赎者，伊会互因继续因的家谱，伊带来保存因的产业。
And so scholars believe that Naomi's complaint, or her supposed answer, is God's answer.
伫迄搭呢，作者就咧互咱看到，拿俄米伊咧问的这个问题，是上帝的答复。
And so when you read the rest of the book, you find that God indeed had the best in store for all the major characters.
所以你会发现，你若要读第2到第4章，上帝实在有将最好的保留，互遮每一个人物。
And by the time you reach the end of chapter 4, you discover that King David actually came from the line of Boaz and Ruth.
所以你若读到第4章落尾，你就发现，原来连大卫王，伊是对拿俄米、波阿斯、罗德的这个家谱来。
And then when you go to the New Testament, Matthew 1, you find that Jesus came from that family line.
你若看马太福音第1章，你会发现，原来咱的主耶稣基督，伊的祖宗也是对因遮来。
And so we cannot see what lies ahead in the future.
所以虽然咱现在无法看到将来所要发生的代志，
But do we believe that God has the best in store for us?
但是咱是毋是有相信讲，上帝有将最好的保存保留咧互咱？
You and I, we may be going through some tough times, but remember, God has not abandoned you.
今仔日虽然咱经历艰难，但是你就会记得，上帝无放弃咱。
Because He has something better in store for His people, for His children.
因为上帝互伊的百姓，甲伊的囝儿，有伫带来存留好的代志。
So are we willing to believe this?
所以咱是毋是愿意来相信这方面？
Finally, have the courage to say yes to God.
最后呢，咱就有迄个胆量，愿意甲上帝讲：是啊，上帝啊，我愿意接受。
In the story, we find that Naomi was bitter towards God.
伫咱所读的故事，咱伫甲看到，拿俄米伊怨叹上帝。
However, you cannot say the same thing with regards to Ruth.
但是若论到路德，你无法相反讲即句话。
Remember, Ruth lost her husband.
你会记得，路德已經失落伊嘅丈夫咯。
And I'm sure that if Naomi felt the pain of losing someone, Ruth also felt that same pain.
那俄米若有伫迄搭感覺到伊失落伊嘅親人，路德相反也是有即款嘅經歷。
But we do not find a trace of bitterness in her.
但是你會發現，伫路德嘅身上呢，你連一點仔嘅怨恨，還是伫迄搭咧悲傷，你無發現。
Instead, we find that Ruth affirmed that she was placing her faith in God.
你会多发现讲，罗德伊伫搭来认定，相信上帝的好处，
She was saying yes to God.
因为伊伫搭呢是讲上帝讲是的，我愿意接受。
It's true, she was dealt what we would call as a bad hand, but still she chose to say yes to God.
有影咱会晓讲，伊所拄着的实在是不幸的代志，但是伊选择要来活靠上帝。
Now, did she have any clue at all what her yes would result to?
咱若看，伊是毋是已经有暗示知影讲，伊若讲上帝回应讲，伊要接受伊所要得到的福分是啥物？
I'm very sure she was clueless. She didn't know that that her yes would lead to something better.
我相信，当伊有接受上帝所要予伊的，伊也不毋知影，有啥物恩典、福分要讲伊。
But she did not let the unknown hinder her from trusting God.
但是伊并无允准迄个毋知影的，来满足伊活靠上帝的心。
That's why, if you read the succeeding chapters, God orchestrated events in her favor.
所以你会发现，你若要读遐不容易的几章，上帝怎样伫搭对头到尾，伫搭咧掌管，做一项代志，照伊的计划来发生。
In an article entitled "Six Female Bible Heroes Who Ignored Why Me and Chose Yes Lord," there are two truths that were given in this article.
有一个文章，伊有讲到有6位的遮英雄的姊妹，因怎样伫搭，因无伫搭咧疑问上帝，为什么我？因都是伫搭讲上帝啊，阮接受。
Now, the first truth that we can learn from this article is that we can still answer yes or yes Lord even when we are confused.
伫即章呢，伫即个文章你会发现，头一项伊是讲，虽然因伫搭混乱，因也阁是活靠上帝。
You don't need to know the answer or all the answers before you say yes to the Lord.
你无需要知影答案，才要来活靠上帝。
Sometimes God wants us to say yes first to Him, then He will unfold or unveil the answer.
有时阵上帝先需要你讲，你接受了，上帝才阁互你知影，阁落去的一步。
The second truth is it's okay to wrestle with why me to get to yes Lord.
第二方面，伊是讲你甲上帝伫搭咧宣言是袂要紧，但是因为你的目标，你是要愿意接受上帝的意思。
And in the article, on the section on Ruth, the author pointed out that Ruth's yes to God was a way of her declaring that she was starting over after her loss.
伫所写的这个文章，伊讲罗德回应上帝讲，伊接受是因为伊若亲像要讲开始伊的生活。
She was determined that she wanted to walk into a new life, into a new relationship with God.
因为伊伫搭是决定讲，伊要有一个新的生命，一个新的生活。
That's why she turned away from her family. She turned away from her idols.
就是这个原因，伊才会离开伊以前的家庭，离开伊的家神。
And then she also left her homeland in order to go to a new place.
伊离开伊的本地摩押，来到一个新的所在。
I'm sure all of us at certain points in our life we've experienced pain and trials.
我相信伫咱的生活内面，咱也有相款经历着试炼甲苦难。
And it's natural for us to ask the question, why me? Why me, God?
咱真正自然跟上帝讲，上帝为什么这个代志发生伫我呢？
But eventually we need to move on from why me to say, yes, Lord.
但是最后呢，咱应该着对问为什么我着去到是的上帝，我接受。
Just like Ruth, we can't keep on dwelling in our past mistakes or past tragedies.
亲像罗德，咱无法一直看以前所发生者异常的代志，
But we need to get up and start following God.
但是咱应该着跳起来，来跟跟上帝，面临将来。
And so from chapter 1 of Ruth, these are the 4 lessons that we've learned this
所以
morning.
对于路得记第一章，互咱有这4点的心得。
Accept willingly the providence of God.
头先你就乐意来接受上帝的供应，
See the good that God sends your way.
你就看到上帝将这好处赏赐予你，
Believe that God always has the best in store for His people.
你就常常相信上帝是将最好的保留要留落予你。
And fourth, have the courage to say yes to God.
最后你就哪样回应上帝讲是的，你要接受。
To close, I'd like for us to learn an old hymn that I don't think we've ever sung before.
最後呢，咱要来对一首詩，我相信咱也閣未吟着，但是咱通得到一段假詞。
It's a hymn written by William Cowper, and it is entitled God Moves in a Mysterious Way.
這首詩呢是威廉考珀所寫的，伊的題目是講上帝伊有奧妙的道路。
And my prayer is that this song will encourage us, even as we go through tragic times in our life, we will always remember God is good and God is at work.
咱遇到試驗艱難的時陣，咱會常常會記住，上帝是良善的，上帝是幫助的。
Let's sing the song together.
咱來三個吟。
God moves in a mysterious way, His wonders to perform. He plants His footsteps in the sea and rides upon the storm. Ye fearful saints, fresh courage take, the clouds He so much dread are met with mercy and shall bring in blessings on your head. Judge not the Lord by feeble sins, but trust Him for His grace. Be minded from ignorance, He hides the smiling face. Last verse. Thine unbelief is sure to learn and stand His work in vain. God is His own interpreter, and He will make it plain. Let's pray.
愿耶和华赐福予你，保护你；愿耶和华予伊的面光照你，赐恩予你；愿耶和华恩你强面，使你平安。阿免。